Why the Last Man has got to be one of the worst comic books I've ever read. I only managed to read the first three volumes and I had to stop. It's god awful. It's a piece of shit. And I can't believe that Brian K. Vaughan wrote this series. If I had read Why the Last Man before I read Saga and Paper Girls, I never would have read Saga and Paper Girls because I would have been like, nah, fuck this. That guy fucking sucks. He's a misogynist, even though, like I said, I'm on the left. I'm a lefty. I hate SAW bullshit and art. But there are things that you can do intelligently to talk about, you know, the ills of society. And this book, which is supposed to be about a world basically without men, doesn't really do anything deep. It's just basically an attempt to do a preacher type story. It's edgy. They try to have a lot of action, which is really poorly drawn. I don't like the art in this book at all. And it's just like you have these factions fighting over him, but there isn't a sense of, like, I have sisters and they really do get together. I mean, they cause trouble and they're wild and whatever. When they were younger, particularly, they could be wild and cause trouble, whatever. But when the shit hits the fan, they are all there. They handle their shit. They take care of everything. Grandma's sick, grandma dies. You gotta get a funeral together. They take care of all that shit. And none of that is really reflected in this book at all. It's all just stupid shit like this Israeli colonel woman wants to have Yorick produce a race of Superman. Like, it's just really dumb shit. Like, it's not thinking about anything. And it's misogynistic in the sense that it acts like it cares about women because, that's the biggest cast, women. But it doesn't really like women. When you read it, it just feels weird and icky. And just, I think the thing that really, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have read Saga if I had read this shit first. This in particular. So, this is only book 2, so it's like issue 6 or 7, maybe 8, I don't know. So the cataclysm happens right away in the book, like the first couple of pages or something. Yorick is talking to his girlfriend on the phone, I think. She's in Australia. He wants to ask her to marry him. He's just a stupid fucking escape artist. Yet he's the son of a senator. I don't think you find that out right away. But he's just a stupid hipster douchebag in this apartment with this blonde girlfriend who's for some reason is out in the out back by herself. Like I said, I think he asked her to marry him, and she doesn't get a chance to answer him, or he thinks that she goes quiet. But then it's because of the cataclysm. Like outside, there's a cop lady talking to another woman. She's like, "What's going on here?" And she's like, "All the men's dying," and she blows her brains out or whatever. So at a certain point, we find out the mom's a senator, and then because of all the kerfufflery and foolishness, she somehow ends up being the president. But because these stupid women haven't started to try to rebuild and try to make things work in society, they're just all sort of puttering around and just being like, "There's no men." Like I said, obviously this is a big event. You lost your husband, you lost your kid, you lost your male pet, all this stuff. But it's like, you talk about wanting to survive. Now, at a certain point, you have to start trying to build things and make things easier for yourself instead of just sitting around. And that's all they seem to be doing. Like, nobody's saying, well, let's go clear some shit out. Let's try to do something. They just sort of, the mom president seems to just be doing some little sneaky, shady things. She gets, she sends Agent 355, the black woman that you see in the trailer, who is funny, looking at the trailer and thinking about the shit show that this show is probably going to be. 355 really is that character in the comic. Like, in other words, they didn't race bend her, they didn't gender bend her. There's a black woman who's a kick-ass agent. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they can make her more prominent or what. Now, the thing is, people will probably, I don't know what the show's going to do, but I'm just thinking that what will probably happen, even if they hew close to the original story, which I don't think they are, People are going to say, oh, this is SJW because the male character is such a bumbling goofball. But he's like that in the comic. And I think this is before Brian K. Vaughan becomes a true SJW. Because Saga is a great book, but it is an SJW book. And it's masterful in the way in which it tells its story. It ripped my fucking heart out at the end, or at the big cliffhanger. And I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen now. And it's been like, what, 3-4 years since it came out? But, so yeah, so anyway. This particular story, 355, and I think this Asian little, I don't remember her name, but it's a little Asian girl, scientist, are trying to get to California, I guess to some lab. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. Now, Yorick thinks he's going to get a ship to go to Australia to look for his girl. And that's another thing that the story doesn't do. It's like, it's not a deep story. It's not a thoughtful story. It's not a story that's going to take risks. It's not a story that's like provocative. It's not a story that's not going to do anything. It's not going to, like, you can have some dumb SJWs on Twitter when they see Why the Last Man. They'll look at it and go, oh, it's going to be about, this guy fucking all these different women. And it's going to be like a silly National Lampoon thing. And in a way, I don't know why I say National Lampoon, but it's going to be like a silly, I don't know. But in a way, you could have done that for a series of issues, or taken an approach where this guy's like, I'm the only dude left, and I can fuck just about any chick who wants to fuck me. But the way the story is set up, they're not going to do that. They're not going to take it there. They're not even to explore it for a little bit. Maybe they do later on, but right now, what's going on is Yorick wants to get to this girl, Beth, I think her name is. We'll see. If I read this part, maybe they'll say her real name, if it's not Beth. But anyway, he's trying to get to his girlfriend. So he's not like looking at it like, wow, I'm the only guy left. I'm the world's my oyster. It's more just like, oh, I'm so worried. I need to go find my fiance. But anyway, so as they're traveling through the country, they end up, for some reason, I forgot what happened, but they end up in this small town called Marysville or whatever. The women there are acting kind of sus and secretive about something. This girl here, I think her name is Sonia. She's the youngest girl in a group of women who live in this little neighborhood. They fed, clothed, and taken care of this stupid fucking guy. I don't think Agent 355 was with them, but something happened. She got split off from them. But they're definitely taking care of her and the little Asian girl. And at a certain point, I guess, Yorick goes take a walk and he helps her, or he finds her to help her chop wood. I can't remember what happened. Anyway, I just remember this. I remember what happens right after this. So let's get to this. I don't think I'm going to read all of this, but I guess she told him she's going to leave. And he goes, why would you want to leave this place? It's a goddamn utopia. You haven't seen us during our periods. All of our cycles are in sync, so once a month this town turns into a bloody whirlpool of bitchiness. Ha ha ha. I'm kidding, Yorick. I love it here. The only reason I would ever leave is to be with you. And him, oh, well, I wish you could, Sonia, but my situation is kind of complicated. You think I crap your style, huh? This is so fucking stupid. What does that mean? It's cool, Yorick. You're a guy, maybe the last one. If I were you, I'd try to bang as many girls as possible, too. I wouldn't want just one chick weighing me down. But it's like, that's not how it works now. I'm the only fucking dude left. You want some dick, I'll give you some dick. But I'm going to fuck some other girls, too, because I got to help, create more of us. But, actually, how? Because he might be able to create women, but then what happens when the little girls get born? So I guess that's what they're trying to figure out. But anyway, it's just, they're not even thinking about it. He's just like, no, I told you I have a girlfriend, I know, but she's overseas and you're here. It must be hard. I don't like the art in this. I know people are like, oh, this girl's so great, this girl artist or whatever, Pia Guerra, but it's like, nah, she sucks. Yeah, it is. I don't know if to read all of this. This wasn't important. It's just, I guess, He goes, but for some retarded reason, and so that's one of the things I say retarded too. But I know, like, SJW wise, you're not supposed to say that. It's ableist and whatever. But it tries to be edgy by saying shit like, but for some retarded reason, somebody up there picked me to survive all this. So I'm trying not to take advantage of the situation. But that means nothing. But whatever. You believe in God after everything that happened? I don't know. I used to. I guess I'm one of those recovering Catholics. Oh, so all this devotion to your girlfriend is really just about some leftover hang-up about sex. Maybe. Yeah, it is Beth. But Beth was the first girl I ever slept with, you know? She was the only woman alive who wanted me back when I was just an unemployed loser. If nothing else, I think I owe her a little loyalty. This is all meaningless. I'm sure lots of girls wanted you back then, Yorick. Why? He's a fucking idiot. They just don't know how to tell you. They just didn't know how to tell you. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, and we're gonna see one of the reasons why. So she's saying, she knows he's I don't know why. He must have told her at some point that he's an escape artist. So she asks him to do a trick, and he's like, I'll bet you $100 I can guess what color underwear you have. He doesn't guess. She says, you don't have $100. He says, well, I'll give you my watch. And she says, fine. Guess. And he's like, let's see, your panties are black. Wrong. I'm not wearing any panties. Prove it. So, which I would say that too. So that's the one reasonable thing he's done so far, is basically say, show me your pussy and ass. Fork over the timepiece, Kreskin. All yours. Hey, this is my watch. How did you? So they kiss. Now, before it gets any further, I'm looking at it here. So she's hugging him. He's, I guess, nibbling her ear, and she goes, I can't do this. All of this is unreasonable. All of this is nonsense. All of this is just bullshit plot. You'll see. I can't do this. You can't? It's wrong, Yorick. You're right. Christ, I'm such an asshole. It's not you, Yorick. You're a really good person. Too good for someone like me. Wow. There's a line I never thought I'd hear again, or I thought I'd have to never hear again. Let me say that again. Wow. There's a line I never thought I'd have to hear again. I just want to punch him. He's, even through here, he's just so punchable. So, this is nonsense. All this is, like, none of it acts like they're really in a world where there's no more men, and that it all went down in one fucking day, and that planes fell out of the sky, massive pileups on the freeways or highways or whatever. None of that seems like they're not thinking about this. None of that is she's not thinking about any of that while she's telling this nonsense. So this is what she's saying. It's not like that, Yorick. I'm a junkie, okay? A fucking crackhead. I'm clean now, but truth is, if there was any way to score meth out here, I'd probably be right back on it. Jesus. I'm sorry. I had a cousin who died of an overdose. Then you're really gonna hate me, Yorick, because I'm also a convicted dealer. What? Me and this guy I was seeing were both using. I helped cook the crap, but I only ever made enough for the two of us. Not that that's an excuse. I know he was fucked up. It's just my boyfriend started selling on the side without telling me, right? So they said the cops eventually picked him up in exchange for a lesser sentence. He told them I was the fucking ringleader. He got 15 months. I got 10 years. Who would believe that she was the one or whatever? So what are you saying? You're some kind of escaped convict? So, of all the reactions to have in the middle of an earth-shattering apocalypse, all he has to say is, to this girl he just kissed and was about to fuck, is, wow, you got convicted. She explained to him what fucking happened, and all he's saying is, you're some kind of escaped convict. Like, this is some big deal. He's seen dead bodies. He saw what went down on Cataclysm Day, Why the Last Man Day. And this, his reaction to somebody who was in fucking prison. Haven't you figured it out yet? That's what every woman in Murrysville is. And she's acting all ashamed and dramatic and crying like this is some big fucking deal. Like, who fucking cares? This is a prison town, Yorick. There is a women's facility less than a mile away. Oh, fuck. What is wrong with him? When all the men died, the warden decided to turn us loose instead of letting us starve to death in our cells. Of course. That's of course. This society doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't exist. These prisoners don't matter anymore. Most of the guards lived in the houses we're in now. They took off months ago. I guess they couldn't stand staying where their husbands and little boys died. Yorick, none of us wanted to get out like this, but it happened. What the fuck does that mean? Of course nobody... The other inmates and I all get along pretty well, and we've been taking care of ourselves for years. So this community kind of just fell into place. Why is he looking like this? Like, who gives two shits that they were prisoners? Society doesn't exist anymore. What is going on here? It's like Brian K. Vaughan has brain tumors for breakfast before he starts writing a fucking script like this. What is going on? I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but you can understand why we don't want people to know. No, we can't understand that. It doesn't mean anything. We just, what, are you worried that one of these people are going to steal your fucking car? Or your car keys or your wallet? What? We just want to get on with our lives. So please, you have to promise to keep this a secret, okay? Now see, the thing is, he's their guest. They've taken care of him. What is the issue? Like, he's imposing on them. They didn't come to him and say, we want to stay on your own. Oh, by the way, we've taken drugs and, we used to be prisoners. Like, what does that mean in a time like this? I can't. And so she's looking, saying, so please, you have to promise to keep this a secret. Like, don't tell the other women that you know that we were prisoners. Okay? Now, I would have stopped reading the comic after this next panel, but I just couldn't. I wanted to see how far it was going to go. So, look at this. Look at the look on his face. They're criminals. He's their guest. He showed up at their place, and he's calling them criminals. What the hell are you talking about, Yorick? I forgot her name. But this is, I think, the scientist girl. I think 355 was hurt. So they were she's taking care of 355, the black girl, who got hit or shot or something happened. I don't know, they fell off a train or something crazy happened. Or they were fighting somebody. Some of these stupid Amazon girls, and she got hurt. And so the Asian girls were taking care of her. And I think the Asian girl was wanting to mess with her. I can't remember. But anyway, what the hell are you talking about, Yorick? What's going on here? Look at this prick. I'm sorry, Tess. I thought I could trust him. What? Tell her. I don't know when you're... Tell her what you did or I will. And then she's looking. Armed robbery. Get off the fucking screen. Armed robbery. What? 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 You have a fucking monkey on your shoulder. What are you fucking talking about? What? How about you? What were you in for? You are their guest, you fucking piece of shit. Fraud. Healthcare fraud. But I never... What is she explaining to him? Get the fuck out of here. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. What are you going to do about it? This is what makes no sense. He's running over here talking all this shit. But what's he going to do? There are no fucking... He can't send them back to prison. And you? What did you do? Kill somebody? His judgment means nothing. Society is over as they all know it. Him yelling about them being... What does that have to do with anything? What is that doing to anybody? What do you do? Kill somebody? Yeah, my husband. And I don't regret it for a goddamn second. Calm down, Aunt May. Damn. You see, Doc? These women, they're all a bunch of thieves and murderers. They still owe a debt to society, don't they? What is this fucking moron talking about? And why is she looking like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Nothing has happened to them. They've taken care of them. There's nothing like there's no law they can break. If they wanted to kill them, they would have killed them and eaten them already. If this is what is the problem? Society doesn't exist anymore. Like, none of this matters. Healthcare for I stole insurance money. So what does that mean? I killed my husband. How does it affect him? I mean, why the hell should they get to live in paradise? What the fuck is he talking about? What is he fucking talking about? That's enough, Yorick. Okay, and this was the stupid shit where before anybody can rebut any of the things he's saying or talk about anything intelligent, before anybody could talk to him or I said, I don't understand what's happening. Him going in there yelling at these people doesn't mean anything. He's their guest, so they can just say, get the fuck out of here if you don't like it. Him judging them doesn't mean anything because he can't take them back to prison. He can't go there and call the cops and say, hello, police, there's a bunch of escaped prisoners, because they didn't escape. They literally were let out. She told them. All the men died. All the guards left. So when the prison guards let them out, because they would starve otherwise. Why in the fuck, in a world where everything is just turn the fuck, he's calling this shit a paradise. This fucking piece of shit. And so, before anybody can talk or address this, and I hate the worst art and entertainment does this. Now this isn't to him this is a big moment. For me, I'm trying to figure out when is anybody going to call him on this and say, what the fuck are you talking about? There is no society. But they don't say that. What happens is, action interrupts it. It's I think people were complaining about that. I think it was JXE was complaining about that in Doctor Who. The Chibnall era Doctor Who, where, as soon before somebody says something or addresses something important, somebody would bring something up, and the other person would say why, and before a real conversation would take place, one of the other cast members would come running, going, help, run, and it would break up, any chance at anything important and intelligent being talked about. So that's what's happening here. So she says, it's his sister. What happened? What did she say? She goes, that's enough, Yorick. It's a stupid sister hero. And so Sonya goes, who? And he goes, no. And then they show his stupid fucking sister cut one of her boobs off. Because she's a part of this group called the Amazons, and they cut their boobs off. And I don't exactly know what their point is. They're glad the men are not there, and so they're going around smashing up fertility clinics and stuff. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's just fucking stupidity. So I get this is the end of this issue. Yeah, to be continued. So really, after I read this, I was like, I bought this fucking book. I'm going to see if anybody addresses how he's spazzing out about the fact that these ladies were prisoners at one point. And then that's the thing, again, they explained, or Sonya explained, well, we were prisoners, we got let out because of this great cataclysm, blah, 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 blah. And he's mad, and he's judging them, but there's nothing he can do but just yell at them. And it's why would you yell at people who's just been taking care of you for the past few days? About something so fucking stupid and meaningless. Let me see. Oh yeah, she's still shitting on herself for nibbling. I think I went really further than... Oh yeah, okay. So let me see where it is. Damn, it's the whole fucking... Alright, let's see. I'm trying to see where they basically told her... Alright, so... They basically... Oh, yeah. So, basically, these Amazons... I don't know who the fuck this woman is. Her name is Victoria, she said. I don't give a shit. So, she goes there behind Hero. They want to get Yorick. I forgot what they want to do with him. I don't know if they want to kill him or what they want to do. But I just thought this... Okay, so this part was really infuriating, too. So, the leader of these Amazons, or this high lieutenant of the Amazons, says... to the ladies, hey, stop harboring that guy We want him, don't defend him. Let me explain to you why. Fact, the vast majority of you convicted of violent crimes were merely defending yourselves or your children from an abusive male. Fact, those of you who killed your husbands served prison terms twice as long as men who killed their wives. Fact, most of you were in for economic crimes, literally stealing to feed your families, but while you rotted in prison, men who embezzled billions were free. Fact, in this country alone, more than 100,000 women were incarcerated before Mother Earth cleansed herself of the male abominations. Over the last few months, how many girls forced into drugs and prostitution perished, trapped behind bars? And for what? Men's idea of justice? If you women truly want to repay your debt to society, you'll hand the last of the men over to me. Because once you make it past the scales and the blindfold, justice is a woman with a sword. Bam, bam, bam. Wait, I'm gonna cough. Once you pass a bit of whatever, she said it. I already said it already. Jesus Christ, we're in John Ashcroft's hell. And so, we doing this the hard or easy? Oh, so we doing this hard or easy? Hard, asshole. Sonya. Did you hear anything Victoria just said? Everything. But just because some stuck-up bitch reads a few statistics, doesn't mean she knows us. Good. Look at him, looking like a fucking... Come on, get to the next panel. So unless you've got enough arrows for everyone in this room, you can get out there and tell your friends that we're not giving up anyone without a fight. And he's sitting there looking at this shit running down his nose. That's right. Hero hit him upside the head. She should have. That goes for all of you. And they all looking like a bunch of dumbasses. He's standing looking like a fucking stupid prick. And they all looking like, well, we gonna think about this. Damn straight. They all turn around. She's looking like, don't you feel like a piece of shit? And they just looking like, yeah, we gonna defend this useless asshole over here. Then I'll let Victoria know. I think she's gonna be angry. Oh, just get on out of here. You don't know what to fucking hear. Stupid ass costume she's wearing, this stupid jacket and dumb shirt. What the fuck is happening? Can we sneak him out the cellar exit? So they're trying to figure out ways to get his stupid ass out of the place. And he's like, wait, what are you talking about? Saving your ass. Why? A few minutes ago, I was saying that all of you deserve to be locked back up. Now, why the fact that he would say something so stupid, like it's not enough to say, well, it's just him trying to, Brian K. Vaughan trying to show that he's learning and growing. But you have to be an inhuman sack of shit to even talk that way in a time like this. And that's not something that, that's just something he needs to learn to get over with. Lacking in empathy, intelligence, situational awareness. I know he's a fucking dipshit, but that's just too much. And she says, yeah, well, you're a sanctimonious brat. No, he's not just a sanctimonious brat. He's a fucking cunt. Don't mean you deserve to be executed. No, actually, he deserves to be executed. They should have had him killed. He's a fucking piece of shit. And look at him looking like a fucking moron. I don't understand any of this. It makes no sense to me. So that was it. I don't give a shit about the rest of this fucking story. The second or the third volume, I just was like, I had enough. This is this really badass military commander lady who took over Israel. She was the most high-ranking power in Israel. Sent a bunch of women and herself to go find him. They found him. The women act like pieces of shit to each other. They're always fighting and squabbling. Not necessarily about Yorick. It's just they're always being petty and stupid. They're always fighting and screaming and being dumb to each other. It got so bad that the Israeli lady had Yorick captured, and she had him handcuffed. But because the other women were fighting each other and yelling at each other and being stupid, he had to be the one to kind of step up and fight the Israeli commando woman. And the fact this woman is super highly trained, he beat her like nothing, and in a really dumb, stupid way. And I was like, that's it. I can't do this anymore. The plot was, had some action, and the plot was moving along fine. But I was just like, I just can't take this seriously. And it got worse because after that, there was a two-parter about this theater troupe. I don't even remember anymore what happened in that. I just remember that I rated this volume 1 star. I rated the first volume, I think, 2 stars, and I was going to rate the third volume 2.5 stars because even though it was stupid and the women are acting dumb, it was still interesting what was happening. Like, it was still action and excitement, and it was like, okay, I can maybe see people liking this on a kind of a pulpy level, even though it's just completely not what I thought it was going to be. Because you look at something like Saga. Saga is great, and it's just great. And then you look at this shit, and it's like, ugh. But maybe it'll get better over time. But when I read the dumb 2-parter after that, which maybe I should look into. I don't want to take too long in this particular video, but I might look at this theater troupe story next time. So yeah, we'll talk about that later, though. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say one of the things about Brian K. Vaughan writing this and Yorick being such a fucking piece of shit, and I just couldn't believe, like, he's so horrible. And I believe now that Marco is Brian K. Vaughan's apology for Yorick. Take care.